Good morning from Brussels. Welcome to our information session on staff exchange. This is one of the MSCA Skłodowska-Curie actions under the Horizon Europe Framework Program. My name is Rodrigo Gutierrez Domínguez. I'm head of sector at the unit that is managing the implementation of the Skłodowska-Curie action staff exchanges at the European Research Executive Agency, and I will conduct today's event. We are thrilled to have you here as audience for this Info Day. Indeed, this will be an interactive session. You can interact with us via Slido through different polls that we are going to run along the event. If not yet done it, please join the event Slido through the hashtag SE2024 or scan the code now with your mobile phone and reply to our first question. Which country are you coming from? We can see many participants coming from Greece. Italy seems to be on the top. Spain, Poland, but we are pleased as well to see some participants coming from even countries beyond Europe, like Rwanda or Argentina. And now we have seen as well some increase. Welcome as well the attendees from Kiev and from Kosovo, Denmark, France, and now we see as well that the presence of attendees from UK, from United Kingdom is growing. Thanks for this interaction and thanks to joining us today. We are going to do our best to explain you the details of our action and how you can be successful in the Call Staff Exchange 2024. To kick off the event, it is my pleasure to invite our opening speaker, Ms. Monica Holick. She is the head of unit of the MSCA Staff Exchanges at the European Research Executive Agency. Monica, the floor is over to you.
Thank you, Rodrigo. Thank you all for joining us today. It's truly encouraging to see so much interest in our MSCA Staff Exchanges action. Today's session is designed to provide you with a comprehensive overview of the action, covering its objectives, eligibility criteria, and application process. As research becomes increasingly global, our action is structured to support meaningful cross-border collaboration. By facilitating staff exchanges, we aim to foster the exchange of expertise, promote skill development, and build lasting networks that benefit both individuals and their institutions. Our goal today is to inspire and motivate you to submit outstanding research proposals for our current call, which opened last September and will close on February 5th. This year, we are excited to announce a significant increase in funding. The total allocation for the Staff Exchanges call is 99.47 million euros, a substantial rise of 27% from last year's budget of 78.5 million euros. We are also delighted to welcome back our beneficiaries from the United Kingdom. As of January 1st, 2024, the UK joined Horizon Europe as an associated country, which means UK institutions are now fully eligible to participate and lead MSCA Staff Exchanges projects. Additionally, to address inflation and ensure the continued attractiveness of our program, the unit costs for this action have increased from 4,600 euros to 5,010 euros. More details on this will be shared in the upcoming presentation. It is worth noting also that our action has a high success rate, with more than 1 in 3 proposals receiving funding. As many of you know, the Staff Exchanges action encourages international, inter-sectoral, and interdisciplinary mobility of research and innovation staff through sustainable collaborative projects across Europe and beyond. Staff Exchanges funds research and innovation projects that are implemented through the mobility of staff among participating organizations, spanning both academic and non-academic sectors in different countries. Through these exchanges, public and private organizations collaborate closely, enabling transfer of knowledge, growth, and the transformation of innovative ideas into tangible products and services. This program follows a bottom-up approach, allowing flexibility across all scientific fields. You set the priorities, and we support the mobility. It connects global research and innovation communities, fostering interdisciplinary synergy in fields such as chemistry, social sciences and humanities, economic sciences, information science and engineering, environmental and geosciences, life sciences, mathematics, and physics. We recognize the critical contributions of the academic sector, but also strongly believe in the innovative potential of the private sector. Staff Exchanges offers private companies direct access to researchers' expertise, keeping them informed about the latest trends in their field. This action also provides opportunities for companies to expand their networks globally and connect with new partners and markets. To give you a sense of today's agenda, we have designed it based on the preferences gathered through the EU survey conducted before this event. First, you'll hear a presentation on the key features of Staff Exchanges action by my colleague Sotiris Kiokias, followed by detailed guidance on applying the current MSCA Staff Exchanges call from Gianluca Coluccio. Next, we'll present insights and experiences from two successful Staff Exchanges project participants, putting in perspective the challenges and opportunities within the policy framework of the action. This live discussion will feature Ms. Begoña Arano, Head of MSCA Department at TREA, Joaquin Silvestre Albero, Coordinator of Projects Clean Water and NanoMed, Monzer Alsaka, Beneficiary of Projects MOCO, OWHIL, Clover, and EVE, and Dora Cifra, Policy Officer at the Directorate General for Education, Youth, Sport and Culture. We will also dedicate time to a questions and answer sessions, so please feel free to send your questions via Slido. Our team is here to clarify any details and provide guidance to help you prepare a strong application. Finally, I am pleased to announce that starting at 12:30, we'll have a brokerage event organized by our colleagues from the Spanish National Contact Point. This will be an excellent opportunity to connect with potential collaborators and build consortia for your MSCA Staff Exchanges proposals. Additional details will be shared later in the session. Before concluding, I want to express our heartfelt gratitude to our national contact points present today. Your support in guiding applicants through the MSCA Staff Exchanges proposal process and your assistance through the project implementation is invaluable. Your work is essential, and we deeply appreciate your dedication. That wraps up my introduction. I hope today's session meets your expectations and provides you with the insights you need. Now I will hand back to our moderator. Rodrigo, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Monica, for the warm introduction to the MSCA Staff Exchange Info Day. Before we get into the details of the Staff Exchange program, we would like to know what type of organization are you representing today? Are you joining us from an university, research organization? Are you joining us from a company, NGO? Are you joining us from public sector, or perhaps are you joining us from an NGO? We can see that more than 80% of the participants today in our Info Day, they are coming from the academic sector, university, non-profit research organization. We have as well, and we welcome the participation from the non-academic, SMEs, private companies, industry, and as well research for-profit research organization. Welcome as well on board the national contact points. As mentioned by my head of unit, your contribution to make successful our program is highly appreciated. And we have as well others that they don't find themselves in the other three categories. Welcome all on board. We'll try to meet your expectations today. Thank you for your responses. We have a great mix of participants. Indeed, diversity aligns well with our action. Staff Exchange is designed to support a wide range of organizations. Now, if you agree with me, let's move on to the core part of today's Info Day. We want to learn you about what all you need about the staff exchanges and as well what you need to know about the preparation for the call staff exchanges 2024. To do so, we count with the presence of two of our colleagues in our unit. I'm pleased to introduce you today my colleague on the left-hand side, Sotirios Kiokias. Welcome on board. And as well, my colleague, Gianluca Coluccio. Sotirios Kiokias is the panel coordinator of chemistry in our unit, and Gianluca Coluccio is the call coordinator in our unit. First of all, I will have the pleasure that Sotirios will introduce us valuable insights about the goals and the features of the Action MSCA Staff Exchange. Sotirios, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Rodrigo. And on my side, welcome and thank you all as well for joining our info session today. Before start discussing about the main feature of our action, I would like to go through a couple of introductory slides about the general program. Marie Staff Exchanges is an action of the Marie Skłodowska-Curie program, which is part of Horizon Europe. And what is Horizon Europe? Is the European Union's key funding program for research and innovation, with a budget of around 95.5 billion euros for a period of 6 years until 2027. Horizon Europe entails a wide range of research and innovation actions that address the biggest societal and environmental challenges, such as climate change and global warming, environmental sustainability, protection of human health, and promotion of welfare of EU citizens. As you can see in this slide, the program is built over 3 pillars. The pillar 1 concerns excellent science. The pillar 2 refers to global challenges in European industrial competitiveness, and the pillar 3 to innovative Europe. Going back to first pillar, excellent science, you can see this is where Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions are located, together with European Research Council and research infrastructures programs. For the rest of my presentation, please allow me to use the abbreviation MSCA for Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions for reasons of convenience. MSCA is a sustainable program in the different EU frameworks for 30 years now. In Horizon Europe, with a budget of 6.6 billion, keeps funding excellent science projects in all the scientific domains in a bottom-up approach. You can imagine that all of us working for MSCA were very much proud and inspired by the fact that our program owes its name to one of the greatest scientists in history, Marie Skłodowska-Curie, the first woman to win a Nobel Prize, and actually twice in different scientific domains, in physics and chemistry. Marie Skłodowska-Curie has inspired many generations of excellent scientists until today. And as a very recent and striking example, one of the 2024 Nobelists in chemistry, Dr. Baker for Washington School of Medicine, had been an MSCA fellow in early stages of his career, implementing 3 different projects for our program. And let's see now how MSCA support the excellent scientists. In this slide, you can see 5 dedicated actions. I will go very quickly through each of them. The doctoral networks, they target early-stage researchers who join doctoral programs implemented by partnerships of institutions across disciplines and sectors. Postdoctoral fellowship is another well-known action that targets more experienced researchers, already PhD holders, who wish to carry out research abroad and thereby promote their careers in European or global fellowships. Co-fund is another interesting action that funds national, regional, or international programs for both early-stage or postdoctoral fellowships in joint training and development projects. An MSCA in Citizens is the action that promotes the visibility of our projects and explains the impact of the research findings to the society, to families and students, via the organization of European Researcher Night. Last but not least, the staff exchanges is our action we implemented by our unit, which is the focus of the Info Day. If you want information, of course, about each action, you can visit our MSCA website, where you can also see the timelines for the ongoing or upcoming calls. And now, going to the main features of our action, please allow me first to say a few words about the main objectives of staff exchanges. First of all, we're a bottom-up action, so we accept proposals from all the scientific domains. The main objective is to promote international, intersectoral, and the disciplinary mobility of research and innovation staff via the so-called secondments. Our projects are implemented by partnerships of entities, and another major objective is to promote the knowledge transfer between the participating organizations. We want to enhance the collaboration between academic and non-academic sectors by attracting as many as possible companies in order to promote creativity and the innovation in our projects. And last but not least, another major objective is the cooperation across the globe, the synergies between European and entities located outside Europe in order to promote the leadership of the European Union as an attractive destination for research and innovation staff from all around the globe. And now, let's see what is the added value of participating in staff exchanges. We identified this in two levels. First, at the level of staff members. The researchers who join our projects, they have the opportunity to enhance their transferable skills and competencies, and thereby promote employability and their career prospects. Through our innovative projects, they can convert their excellent ideas into products and services, and also to expose themselves in international environments, extending the scientific networks, and thereby acquire networking and communication skills. At the level of organizations, through innovative ways of collaborations, we promote the transfer of knowledge between organizations, enhancing thereby the research and innovation capacity, and ultimately having strong and sustainable collaborative networks. Let's see now who can participate in the staff exchange projects. Again, we're a multi-beneficiary action, and our projects are implemented by partnerships of entities, a so-called consortium. Now, please note that the minimum consortium is composed of 3 different legal entities which are located in 3 different countries, 2 of which should be in Europe as a member state or associated country to Horizon Europe. I'd like to note here that the list of countries associated to Horizon Europe can be found in portal, but we also give the link in our guide for applicants. Also, I would like to note here that we have 2 different types of entities. The ones that belong to academic sector, the higher education establishment, private or public universities or research organizations, and the non-academic sector, the entities that obviously they come mainly from industrial sector companies, including, of course, SMEs. For the exact definition of academic and non-academic sector, you can also go to MSCA work program, but I would like also to note here that in our slides, the academic sector is symbolized by the academic hat, the cone, and the non-academic sector by the gear of the engine. Now, let's see 2 important eligibility rules by taking as a reference the minimum consortium of 3 entities. If all 3 entities are European, located in a member state or associated country, one of the 3 should be from a different sector. Like in this example here, we have 2 academic and 1 non-academic entity. Now, if all 3 entities are from the same sector, they are academic, as in our example, or non-academic, one must be located outside Europe. The green colored here, for instance, is outside Europe located, the other 2 European. I'd like to highlight here that the same eligibility rules are valid also for the consortia composed of more than 3 entities, which is usually the case. On average, staff exchange projects are implemented by consortia of 10 more or less entities. And which staff is eligible for participating in our projects? A strong asset of staff exchanges is that any type of staff involved in research and innovation activities can be engaged. Of course, we focus on researchers, but also administrative, managerial, and technical staff can be seconded in our projects. Researchers at any stage of their career, either early stage researcher, PhD candidates, or postdoctoral fellows can also participate. But there is one important rule here. They should be actively engaged in the research and innovation activities for at least 1 month full-time equivalent in the setting organization before the first secondment. Now, over the whole project duration, each staff member must be seconded for a period of 1 minimum to 12 months maximum. And the secondment can also take place in some civil states. Now, important here to note that the staff needs to be devoted fully to our action during the secondment, and that after the secondment, it should come back to the sending organization, obviously in order to maximize the impact of the exchange and also to ensure long-term collaborations. And now let's talk a bit about the secondments, which are the main implementation tool in our action. First, about the secondments in Europe that they take place between the beneficiaries, the entities located in member state or associated countries. In principle, we have here exchanges, secondments from academic to non-academic sector and vice versa. these are all eligible for funding. And these are the secondments that we would like to see in principle happening, because in that way we have synergies between companies and the academic sector and, of course, innovation as a result. Here, something important. In staff exchanges, for the first time, compared to the legacy action in other frameworks, we allow a limited number of same-sector secondments, from academia to academia, as in the example, or from non-academia to non-academic sector entities. However, we have here a threshold that we cannot exceed. So the same sector secondments can be up to 1/3 of the total eligible for EU funding secondments. And since the secondments are expressed in person months, to be more precise, up to 1/3 of the total number of person months eligible for EU funding. So for instance, if a project is having 100 person months, then up to 33 person months can be same sector in Europe. And since this is the major novelty in staff exchange, I would like to say a few more words. The same sector secondments can be funded if they are interdisciplinary in nature. And what we mean by that? Interdisciplinary are the secondments that they integrate aspects from 2 or more different scientific disciplines. And by aspects, we mean information, data, tools, theories, any type of research knowledge. Now, I'd like to highlight something important here. If your proposal entails same sector secondments, you will have to demonstrate the interdisciplinary aspects of the proposal as a whole, not of the individual same sector secondments, but the interdisciplinarity of the whole proposal. And let's see how you're doing that. I'd like to remind you here that we are bottom-up. We accept proposals for not scientific domains, but for our evaluation process, we are organized in scientific panels. Myself, for instance, I'm happy to act as the coordinator of the chemistry panel in our unit. Now, upon the submission of your proposal, you have to indicate which scientific panel is linked based on the research topic. Now, please note that each scientific panel is having certain descriptors that link to MSCA keywords. They indicate the major scientific disciplines per panel and also the subfields. This list of MSCA keywords is available on our website, but we also give you the link in our guide for applicant. Now, in order to demonstrate the interdisciplinarity of the proposal, you have to combine keywords from the different scientific disciplines, because in that way, you demonstrate that via the same sector secondments, the researchers they move between different disciplines, they acquire new scientific knowledge, and of course, they receive interdisciplinary training. There is a part in the proposal, in part A, when you indicate the keywords that you combine, and also the dedicated section in part B, when you also elaborate in the interdisciplinary dimension of the proposal. Now, during our evaluation, our expert evaluators are going to consider the keywords and all available information, and altogether, they will come up with a conclusion whether the proposal is interdisciplinary or not. If yes, there is no problem at all to cover the same sector secondments, again, up to the threshold that I just explained. Let's see now what happens with the international secondments, the secondments that take place between beneficiaries, which are located in Europe, or member state or associated country, and the associated partners, which are located outside Europe in third countries. First, some good news. We have no limitation about the sector or interdisciplinarity, and all the secondments from Europe to third countries are eligible for funding. But what about the other way? What about from third countries to Europe? Here, there is a financial aspect that may affect the eligibility for a few secondments. Let me first inform you that all the third countries are classified in low, middle, or high-income countries according to their financial status and stability. The vast majority concern low or middle-income countries, and these are indicated in the list of participating organizations that you can find in portal, and again, we give you the link in the guide for applicants. There is a small group of countries, though not in that list, the others are high-income countries, the so-called rich social countries like US, Canada, Australia, Japan, a few more. Now, all the secondments from the entities which are located in low or medium-income countries, third countries, to Europe, they are eligible for funding, no problem at all. However, the secondments from the entities located in high-income countries to Europe, in principle, they are not eligible for funding, which means that they have to cover on their own expenses or from national, perhaps, complementary funding mechanism, the expenses of the researcher to come to Europe. Now, we may have an exception to this rule. If a proposal entails this kind of secondments from high-income country to Europe, they may claim for exceptional funding request. In doing so, they should come to the part A of the proposal in the budget table to introduce the number of the person months and the number of the researchers which are engaged in the secondments. And also, in a dedicated section of the proposal, to elaborate a bit on the exceptional funding request. For instance, they have to justify why these secondments are very essential for the project. Is it perhaps the unique research expertise of the entities or the experts? During the evaluation, our expert evaluators, they are going to check the available information and together conclude whether the exceptional funding request will be approved or rejected. If approved, they are going to be funded. If rejected, we are going to revise the budget table accordingly. And I'd like to also to mention here that we don't fund any secondments between third countries. We don't pay for researchers to come, let's say, from Argentina to US or from Australia to Japan. This is absolutely a non-go. And now let's move to another slide which is quite popular because we simply explain what we pay. In the staff exchanges, the financial reimbursement is based on the secondments and actually on the unit costs. So for us, one unit cost is 1 person month. And what we pay? In total, 5,010 euros per 1 person month, which is already an improvement since the last call, 400 euros, something more, let's say, as an increase. Now, more than half of this money, they go to the staff, paid as a top-up allowance to an existing salary. They are going to cover travel, accommodation expenses, or daily subsistence costs for the researcher. They're also known as type A costs. The rest, they are also known as institutional costs or type B costs, and they are divided in two categories. The research, training, and networking expenses, about 1,300 euros per person a month. Of course, they also cover laboratory costs. They may cover costs for attending scientific conferences or covering expenses for scientific publication in open access journal. And the rest, 1,000 euros for management and indirect costs. Obviously, the total budget of the project is based on the total number of eligible for EU funding secondments, person months. As a kind of example, one project that is having 200 person months eligible for EU funding is having an EU maximum grant amount, a budget of a bit more than 1 million euros. Here in this slide, there is also a reference to special needs allowance, if applicable. This is the additional support that we provide to a staff which is suffering from a permanent disability and otherwise could be prevented from participating in the project. If such a need emerges during the project, there should be a separate application that we assess. Again, this is not part of the budget, which I just explained to you. Now, in this slide, we'll try to make visible one project to understand how it looks like in general. We selected Innovec, a promising project from the LIFE panel that was funded under the 2021 Staff Exchanges call, which is a quite interesting topic as they explore here on mosquito-borne diseases in Europe, also linked to climate change conditions. So there is a strong health, of course, and environmental dimension in the project. With a budget of 1.4 million euros, the project is implemented by a consortium of 23 partners, which I must confess is a bit exceptionally high. As I told you, on average, we have more or less 10 projects per consortium, usually indicative rates of 6 to 10. But still, it's interesting here to see that out of the 23 partners, we have 9 entities based in third countries outside Europe, and also 8 SME partners. So we have a strong international and a strong inter-sectoral dimension in this project. We would like this to happen in order to have synergies between academic and non-academic sector and also between European and third country entities. And as you see in the next slide, our projects in generally all about research mobilities. We have exchanges in Europe, in principle between companies, academic, non-academic, and academic sector, a limited number of secondments between same sector, and of course exchanges from Europe to third country and vice versa. The Innovec project is spread over 3 continents, Europe, Africa, and we also have entities in Latin America. And now in this slide, we give you an overview of the key features for action. First of all, I remind you again that we are bottom-up. we accept proposals from all the scientific domains, but we're organized in certain scientific panels. We pay a top-up allowance on an existing salary. That's important. We don't recruit, we pay a top-up allowance of the existing salary paid by the employer to the staff. We gave you also the figures, we discussed about this earlier. Secondments are the main implementation tool for our action, 1 minimum to 12-month maximum secondment per staff. And the secondments can be interdisciplinary, if same sector in Europe, inter-sectoral or international. The maximum duration of our projects are 4 years, and the maximum number of eligible for EU-funded secondments is 360. That accounts for a budget of 165 million euros. Now, as I approach the end of my presentation, I would like to finish with a few positive messages, try to justify why staff exchanges really make a difference. First of all, the worldwide dimension of our projects is quite strong, one of the strongest in the whole program. We offer the highest participation of non-EU countries in MSCA. And as a small statistic, through some data analysis we performed in our legacy action in RISE, more than 50% of the entities located in third countries that participate in the MSCA program, they come from our consortium. Business participation is another important aspect. Currently, the businesses receive an estimated 30% more or less of the available funding. And this is something that we want to see increased via increased participation of companies in our projects. And through these synergies between academia and non-academia, the third conclusion is also important. Our projects yield tangible, innovative outcomes, and we offer indeed a significant share of patents for the whole MSCA program. Last but not least, a statistic here that I'm pretty sure that the ones of you that you regularly submit proposals you may find quite attractive. It's also mentioned by Monica a bit earlier. The success rate in our action is quite high, between 20 and 40%, that's depending on the year and discipline. In simple words, it means out of the 10 proposals that are submitted in our calls, after the evaluation, more or less 3 proposals will be funded and will lead to successful projects. Well, here I would like to finish my presentation. I hope you feel a bit more positive than earlier about our action, and you may, why not, start considering preparing a proposal for our call. If so, you will find also the slides of my colleague very much interesting. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Sotiris. I'm pretty sure that you convinced many of the attendees to submit a proposal. Therefore, and it was a very thorough explanation. Therefore, we are now to move to our next part of our presentation, because you will be very interested to know how to apply in order to prepare a successful proposal. This will be a key for those that is first time applying for staff exchanges, and even for those that you are repeating with us. Our colleague Gianluca Coluccio, who is our co-coordinator, is really playing a key role in the evaluation of your proposals. He will guide you through the details of the application process. He will explain you the steps, the criteria, the technicalities in order to prepare a successful proposal. Let's dive into the details that we will open for you and exciting opportunities in our staff exchange program. Gianluca, floor is over you.
Thank you, Rodrigo. Thank you, Sotiris, for the great explanation about the staff exchanges program and the MSCA as well. So let's see, first of all, the key dates and the budget for the call 2024. We opened already the call 19 September 2024. The call closure will be next year on 5th of February 2025. So you still have time to present a successful proposal. And this year, as was already mentioned by Monica and by Sotiris, we have an increased budget of 99.47 million euros. This represents mostly a 20-25% increase compared to previous year. So we are proud of that one, and we hope that this involves also a proposal to submit a proposal in our scheme. So let's see now a bit the timeline, indicative timeline of the call. We launched the call or the proposal, as I said before, 19 September. We have the deadline on the 5th of February. Notification of call result to the applicants will be done mostly between June and July. We wrote July, but we tried to anticipate a bit the time in order to allow ourselves some time for grant agreement preparation and grant agreement signature. And we hope to grant the money to the successful projects by November 2025. The first EU-funded project will start then from November 2025 onwards. Let's see now the key changes of this year compared to the previous call. As I said before, the first most important change is the budget. We have more than 20 million compared to previous year, and we hope to be able to found and finance more projects. Unit cost, as was already mentioned by Sotiris, also increased. It passed from 4,600 euros to 5,010 euros. And this, of course, increased also the top-up allowance for the staff to 2,710 euros. Another important change compared to previous call is the fact that the UK is back as a beneficiary. Last year participated as an associated partner, and this year we have it back as a beneficiary. Letter of commitments also is a novelty. This year we don't ask anymore the letter of commitment for the associated partners. So there is no check on letter of commitments during the eligibility check of the proposal. So let's see where to start to find the call, first of all, and also to find the important documents that you need to read in order to write a successful proposal. As was already mentioned by Sotiris, we work via the EU funding and tender portal. This is the page. You will just search the call Staff Exchanges 2024, and here you will be redirected to this page with all the information about the call. It is to be noted that on the left side we have this informal navigation toolbar, where you will, it is highlighted there, you have the important documents related to the call. What are the reference documents that we really would like that you go and read it? First of all, the MSCA work program and all its actions. The MSCA work program is, for us, is the Bible, because therein there is all the information about the call. We have also in the same list of documents the guide for applicants and the proposal templates. Guide for applicants is just an explanation, giving further details of what is written already in the work program. And the proposal templates, part A and part B, are the templates that are used to write the proposal. At the end of the documents, you can find also the frequent asked questions that you have to consult in order to, if you have any kind of question, you may find already an answer in the FAQs. So, how to start writing your proposal? As I said before, in the Funding and Tender Opportunities portal, you will find this call information, and from there you have this tab on Start Submission. There you transfer in a tool that is called SEP, and from where you can register your organization if you're not already registered, and select other participants in the proposal, depending of course on the consortia. What your proposal should contain. As you will notice, this slide is just taken from the work program. You will have 3 criteria that you have to respond in your proposal. The first one is the excellent. Please do not forget to answer also the sub-criteria indicated therein. First of all, the research and innovation objectives of the proposal, the proposal methodology, and the interaction between the participating organization. Answering this criteria is not sufficient to have a successful proposal. Sometimes we notice that we receive excellent proposal from a scientific point of view, but the impact or the efficiency of the implementation are not well demonstrated in the proposal itself. And the experts do not find the elements to score the proposal accordingly. As you can notice there, on the bottom, there are some percentage. That indicates a bit the importance and the weighting factors of the different criteria. So the fact that the excellence is weighted 50% of the score doesn't mean that you don't have to pay attention to the impact or the quality and efficiency of the implementation, because it's there where many proposals fail. Let's see now how to find a partners. There are different methods. Most of you are already well-known scientists in your domain, so you know already how to find partners. You already have partners in your normal career, but you can participate, of course, in networking events, conferences, workshops, etc. Former or current collaborations that you had in previous, maybe MSCA projects or in other projects. You have joint projects with other partners. But we will see later, we have also a search engine in Funding and Tenders Opportunity Portal, where you can find partners in a specific domain. You have also MSCA matchmaking platform, European Enterprise Network, and also the National Contact Point that can, of course, serve to help you out in finding partners. As I mentioned before, in funding intended portals, you have a partner search in under funding. You will have these windows that you open. You can type there the keywords that you are looking for in a specific domain. And then you have a list of beneficiaries. You can filter by indicating the country, the sector, and the other functionalities to find a partner that you need. Let's see now some tips and tricks to write a successful proposal. First of all, as we said before, closely follow the call requirements. This is an indication that is useless to say, but of course you need to respond to the call. Sometimes at the beginning of the evaluation we do an eligibility check. Sometimes we see proposals that have nothing to do with the staff exchange proposals. It's a proposal that should have been presented in another scheme, and by, I don't know if by mistake or by other reasons, they submit also to our scheme. So we should declare this proposal ineligible. Highlight the EU dimension. That is also important. The first criteria that the evaluators will look in the proposal is the EU dimension. You will have to demonstrate that your proposal has international and in particular EU dimension, and is not better to be founded at the regional or national level. Sustainability of collaboration. We build up consortia, and the consortia that you build sometimes has also a kind of long life together. From this kind of project, we saw many times that the relationship between the partners in proposals continue even after the proposal end date. Follow up the available guidelines. As I instructed before, there are all the information available in the portal. Get also a second opinion by a colleague, from a colleague or another person that is expert in the European programs. And most important, also contact the national contact points. These are key in advising you in the different national legislation. We do not know all the national legislation about secondments or who can be considered staff or other things. So the NCP are therefore helping you in this role. You have also synergy between MSCA, staff exchange, and other grants. The important thing is that there is no double funding. A synergetic MSCA project our project will fund the travel, the accommodation, the subsistences, the management costs related to the staff exchange project, while other projects or other grants can find, I don't know, for example, the research itself, the laboratories research. The important thing is that when you do some synergy between different projects, you dedicate 100% of the time in the staff exchange project during the secondments. That is the key factor. We have here the address of the Research Inquiry Service. For any kind of question you have about the Horizon Europe, please contact the Research Inquiry Service, and we will answer as soon as possible to your question. I hope I was clear enough. I will leave the floor now to my colleagues.
Thank you, Gianluca. I think that you were very clear, and I think that we have, together with the presentation of Sotiris, have equipped well our applicants to prepare successful proposals. Indeed, Gianluca has the code and provides you with insights and tips that you should follow in order to prepare a proposal. Both Gianluca and Sotiris will be back with us after the panel discussion that we are going to have in some minutes. They will participate in the question and answer session. They will be happy as well to reply all your questions and provide you advice. Let's remind you that you can submit your questions using Slido. using the hashtag that you have on the screen, SE2024, or as well scanning the code with your mobile phone that you can see as well on the screen. At the question and answer session, we'll reply all your questions, and we can as well provide you advice how to prepare a successful proposal. As you can see on the screen, or you will see in a minute, during the last minutes, we have launched another poll, how to apply, on Slido. The question is the following. We wanted to know whether you have a previous experience in applying for a staff exchange or MSCA RISE. And indeed, we are happy to see on the screen that we have many newcomers, above 60%. These are very good news. That means that we are drawing the attention of new applicants. We have as well around 25% that you are already beneficiary or associate partner in one of our projects. And we can see as well that almost 20%, okay, a bit less, 70%, they are already coordinators in our grants. Then we have an audience that is really showing that we are able to reach as well new and convince new applicants. I may remind you as well that this Info Day is being recorded and will be published on the Research and Innovation Community platform and on YouTube later on. Therefore, you have another chance to watch it. Additionally, you can check out the hashtag SE2024, SE Staff Exchanges, and you can share this on your social media to disseminate this event today and allowing others to follow this presentation on YouTube. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Carmen Sanz. I'm professor at the University of Barcelona, and I'm the coordinator of the RISE project called NOPE. The project contributes to study the problem of the pesticides in Latin America. We focused on the study of the occurrence of pesticides in natural water, the risk associated with these pesticides, and we also developed some economical, low-cost treatments to remove pesticides from water. RISE projects are an excellent opportunity for researchers to work in a multidisciplinary team because you have the opportunity to work with top researchers in their fields of expertise and generate new synergies, so that is very good for the research.
More than 60% of our colleagues have participated in the MSCA Staff Exchanges project. They have visited several other countries for several period of time, from 1 month to 6 months. They have visited other laboratories. They have come into contact with different cultures and different technologies. The benefit out of this exchange is that they brought back the new technologies that could be compatible with the ones that we already developed.
The Reactive 2 project is a Horizon 2020 RISE project with 13 partners across 6 countries. As a research, innovation, and staff exchange project, it involves mobility, staff mobility between industry and academic institutions. The project has 4 scientific work packages which form the base for other activities, including the secondments, which are the core of the project, networking, and workshops. The aim of the Reactive 2 project is to bring together scientists and engineers with a wide range of skills and experience.
Welcome back. We are going to move now to our next topic. Indeed, we are going to discuss about the MSCA staff exchanges policy challenges and opportunities today. Mobility programs as staff exchange are key for collaboration and knowledge sharing. In the next 25 minutes, we'll go into funding policy, program management, and impact of staff exchange on researchers and organizations. Our panel of experts will give their insight into the policy. Let me introduce our panelists today. I have the pleasure to introduce first here on the left-hand side Begoña Arano. She's head of department of Marie Skłodowska-Curie Actions and Support to Experts. She was an MSCA fellow herself and a researcher, and she has a large experience in research and innovation at the European Commission. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good morning. We have as well Dora Cifra. She's policy officer at the Directorate General for Education, Youth, Sport and Culture. She's responsible for the staff exchange action at the unit that defines the policy for the Marie Skłodowska-Curie Actions Program. Welcome on board. Good morning. We have as well with us the Professor Joaquín Silvestre Albero. He's Professor of Inorganic Chemistry at the University of Alicante in Spain. He's co-author of more than 200 high-impact publications with an index of 54. And he has led several EU-funded projects, among them, some of them, RISE Staff Exchange. I will mention, for instance, Nanomet, Clean Water, and has contributed as well to other projects along the FP7, Horizon 2020, and Horizon Europe. Just to conclude his introduction, he's expert in the synthesis and characterization of porous materials for different applications, such as gas absorption, catalyst, and nanomedicine. And the last in our panel is Mr. Monser Alsaka. He's head of research at Tenneco. Welcome today. This is a company that is world leader in designing and manufacturing automotive products for original or aftermarket customers. He got a PhD at the VV here in Brussels, and he has more than 30 years of experience in design, modeling, simulation, testing, engineering, and implementation of advanced suspension systems. Tenneco has been quite active in staff exchange and RISE projects and has participated already in some projects like EVE, Clover, OWIL, and now recently joined MOCO. Then, welcome all on board today for this panel discussion. I would like to address some questions to each of the panelists individually first, but nevertheless, feel free if you want to intervene or to add something to the colleagues' response. Let's start with Dora. From an international policy perspective, how can co-funding schemes can contribute to the success of the staff exchange projects? Which countries are already concerned by these agreements, and if it's expected to have more agreements signed in the future?
I'm glad you asked this question, Rodrigo, because this is something we don't discuss very often. When we introduce staff exchanges, when we speak about this action, we always like to highlight that this is the most international action under MSCA, and also that it provides relatively easy access to third countries, even if they are not associated to Horizon Europe. When it comes to funding and third countries can participate in the action as associated partners. However, only low and middle income countries can be eligible for funding. And basically to bridge this gap or tackle this issue, certain high-income countries introduced complementary co-funding schemes in order to support staff exchanges project where their organizations are present in the consortium. Currently, we have 5 of these. These are Brazil, Canada, India, Japan, and South Korea. What we can see is that there is not a general rule on how to apply. It's rather specific, country-specific for all of these co-funding schemes. So just to give you a concrete example, India signed launched a co-funding scheme a couple of weeks ago. It's a pretty new instrument. And this is really to top up staff exchanges project where Indian participants are present in the consortium, as I mentioned. So this is very specific to staff exchanges. There is another specific element that the funded Indian organizations need to be part of the CSIR, that is the Indian Council of Research. Another recent example is Brazil. They also launched the co-funding schemes, and this is especially for the current 2024 staff exchanges call. And just to reply to the second part of your question, indeed, we expect that in the future there will be even more of these examples, and we also want to encourage other third countries as well to introduce such schemes to support these staff exchanges project. Also, if you want to know more, because as I said, there are pretty many specific details, I invite you to visit our website where you will find all the details, or of course, if you have specific questions, you can always reach out to us, either to EAC or our colleagues.
Thank you, Dora. I'm pretty sure that this will encourage many third countries participants to join the Staff Exchange Consortium. As we have seen at the beginning, some of them, they're already participating as attendees in our Staff Exchange Info Day. Thank you very much. Now, I will move to another question for Begoña. In your opinion, what is the added value of the MSCA staff exchanges in the frame of the MSCA program? And why will you recommend this action to the companies in particular?
Thank you, Rodrigo. So in general, I would say that this is a bit of a different kind of program within or scheme within what the MSCA actions are about. It provides the opportunity for exchanging not just at the level of the researchers themselves, but also staff that is linked to the research as well. So it has a much more holistic approach at the institutional level. So that's something that is actually bringing an added value in this sense. So this is important both for academia and for the companies. But now your question is more towards the attractivity for the companies. And let me say, I mean, one of the challenges that we have usually with our framework programs is how to reach out to the private sector and how to get companies to participate more. And what we've seen over time is that this scheme is a way in for the companies to start participating. Why would it be interesting for companies? Afterwards, we will hear from academia why it's interesting, yes, but we'll hear also from Montserrat why it's interesting from them, from their own experience. But from what we see and what's the reason for having this scheme, there are several issues. One of them would be the access to expertise. Logically, the companies have this way, a very obvious way of fishing into the pool of researchers that are in academia. So then they will have access to the cutting edge knowledge and also to all the R&D that can lead afterwards to innovation. Of course, very important is the talent development. It gives them also opportunities to continue developing their talent in their companies. Obviously, we know that in large companies, as is the case of Tenneco, for example, they probably have a lot of these schemes going on for training, but still it can be beneficial for them. And it's even more important for smaller companies where this way they can actually use these capacities that they can find in academia. Then there are the networking opportunities, which are natural. And this, I think, is both ways. It goes both ways. But for us, it's important because what we want is to create a seamless communication between the two sectors. This is what we are really looking for. So this is another important point. And of course, a huge important aspect, which I mentioned a little bit in the beginning, is the boosting of innovation. So basically, by having this cross-pollination between academia and industry and making this something that happens on a regular basis can only lead to more innovation. And overall, of course, there's the natural cultural exchange that should be between the two sectors. So I would say that as a message to the companies, it is an investment from their side, and it's a very cheap investment because actually they're receiving funds to have all these benefits. That would be my take on this.
Thank you, Begoña. I'm pretty sure that you convinced not only the academic but as well the non-academic participants to apply for a staff exchange. But let's just go back to the academic participants. Indeed, we have with us today Joaquin, and you as researcher and successful coordinator, you have more than one staff exchange research project with us. Can you please share with us your experience and the impact on the research and the career development and academic network as well for the staff participating in our projects, in staff exchanges? What will be your recommendations to universities and research institutes to participate in our program?
So one of the key points of the staff exchange program is that you have, for instance, flexibility in the topic. And this is, for the scientific people, this is one of the main issues, because majority of the projects that we have at the European Union, they have a specific topic that sometimes they are not fitting exactly with what we do, no? So as I say, in my opinion, one of the advantages of the staff exchange is that, as I say, you have flexibility in the topic. So that means that you can identify a regional or a national problem, and then you can join efforts at the European level to find a scientific solution for this problem. Another point which we were discussing now is we can involve associate countries and third countries. And you heard now that we have this possibility to have also the co-fund program. So that means that, unfortunately, sometimes these problems, they are associated with these specific countries. No? In our case, as a chemist, you have contamination of drinkable water, you have contamination of land. And as I said, these problems, they are usually associated with many of these third countries. So with the Marie Curie, you can involve them as a partner in the project. So that means that they are participating together with us to find a solution to this problem. And this is very encouraging for them because they are part of the story. And also, this is very crucial for the dissemination activities, because that means that we have access to the population in these countries. We have access to them, we can show them what we are doing to solve this important problem that they have in their daily life. And as I put an example, it can be just the cleaning of the drinkable water just to make it more safe. From the point of view of the students, this is a great opportunity for them to participate in a European project. And as you were mentioning, they can do secondments in companies, they can do secondments in academia, they can also do secondment in third countries. So for them, they can learn about the way of working in the industry, which is completely different to the academia. They can also just learn about new techniques, new possibilities, new problems that they have in another country. So this is, in my opinion, is a great opportunity for them. And also, in the case, for instance, of Spain, some of our students, they don't have the possibility to spend time outside in another country. And this is basic if they want to get this European doctoral degree. So Marie Curie Staff Exchange is the option for them, because they can go for 3 months to another country. And in addition to all these benefits that I was discussing, they can also get this additional profit. They can have this European doctorate. So at the end, it's a scientific project where we are developing. Of course, we want to make a nice science and nice publications. But I also have the feeling that with the Marie Curie, I also feel this cooperation, because we are helping other countries to solve these specific problems by joining together all the effort of all our labs at the European level. No? And sometimes it's true that we have more technology, we have more equipment, we have more knowledge. That's why I say that sometimes you have this human side that we don't have in other European projects. And for me, this is really crucial.
Thank you, Joaquin. Indeed, I would like to highlight that you mentioned flexibility, European level, international cooperation, human cooperation. These are really assets of a staff exchange, and I'm pretty sure that the participants today, the attendees in the first session, they are convinced now that this is the right action to apply in order to strengthen this in their organizations. But I would like to move now to a question to our colleague today, Monser Asaka, that he's with us. Our colleague Sotiris, in a previous presentation this morning, has confirmed that indeed businesses and companies, they play a key role in our staff exchange projects. Therefore, I would like to know more about, from your company perspective, which benefits does your organization get by working and participating in a staff exchange project? And in your opinion, which is the added value of the inter-sectoral exchanges that is one of the main features of the staff exchange?
So first, I would like to thank you for the introduction and the opportunity to participate in this information session. So as a researcher and coordinator of research activities, I can only agree and confirm all the benefits mentioned today by the colleagues here. And I'm pleased to share our experience and to talk about the benefits a company can get through the participation in RISE and SE projects. From our perspective as a large company, by participating in this program, we are enhancing our technical expertise, expanding our professional network, boosting our innovation, and developing the technical and social skills and adaptability of our researchers. So one of the core benefits, as also mentioned already, is the exchange of technical expertise with academic partners. So this collaboration fosters a dynamic two-way flow of knowledge and skills where both parties can benefit. So from our side, engaging with researchers provides new approaches, a fresh perspective, and innovative concepts. And equally from the other side, so for the academic partners, they have the opportunity to apply their theoretical knowledge on, let's say, real-world applications, which enhancing their research and understanding of the topics in practice. So, of course, this experience creates a learning environment for both academia and industrial partners. They can keep building on their technical expertise, and then they can. Building on there, and then stay tuned with the latest development and develop new skills and competencies that they are needed for future projects. So, and then, also one additional advantage that was mentioned already, it is the access to get access to additional resources. Mm-hmm. So by participating in this kind of projects, we can have access to scientific researchers that have, let's say, innovative ideas, and that we can directly apply into our let's say, programs that they are that might be for us a little bit more exploratory with respect to in-house projects. So we can use that opportunity to engage researchers to work on this initial phase of each project that we have, and then that will allow us to extend, let's say, our R&D capabilities without overextending our resources, and also we are able to work on ideas that without this program maybe we will not be able to. All these ideas will be gone without being explored. So another benefit, what was mentioned also already today, is networking. So that's really important for us because we gain access to talented people. We can create international network with professionals, and this will also increase the visibility of our company and as well the attraction of international researchers. And finally, being part of a consortium, this is very beneficial because we can, through regular assembly meetings and collaborative discussions, we can all together think about a problem and come up with different ideas from different perspectives, serving, let's say, to solve or to work on together on one collaborative goal. This will really amplifies our capacity to innovate and allow us to adapt and refine our strategies as we progress in the project. So that was regarding the first question.
Thank you, Monser. Indeed, I would like to highlight that you mentioned the knowledge flow, international dimension, collaboration, transfer of knowledge. Indeed, we can dig a bit more on this. And the next question will be, How does MSCA staff exchange contribute to enhance the international research collaboration? I don't know, this is more dynamic part of the panel, but maybe Dora, you can break the ice.
Yes, I think staff exchanges was really designed in a way that it supports the researchers, it enables the researchers to work together, to share their ideas, exchange ideas, not only internationally across borders, but also across disciplines and different sectors. And when doing so, when they are collaborating and working together, it also means that they are exposed to new environments, new methodologies, and this is something that leads to innovative solutions. What we also observe pretty often that following these staff exchanges project, these researchers and staff members keep working together. So it really creates a long-lasting research, like a connection between researchers and staff members. When it comes to the transfer of skills, knowledge, and resources, this is also important because this is something that strengthens the research capacity of the participating organizations, and this will really extend the impact of their work internationally. And yeah, what is also important that by the end of the day, all these factors, all these elements will lead to a much more interconnected research community ecosystem, and by the end of the day, this is what we need to tackle today's global challenges that are probably more complex than ever before.
Yeah. Indeed. I think that we can have already good examples of immediate earnings of participating in staff exchange. But what about participating if the staff exchange is definitely improving the knowledge transfer across borders? Maybe Begoña?
Okay. I mean, as Dora was saying, of course, one of the core values of staff exchanges is precisely all the cross-border collaboration. And by this, of course, we mean if we talk within Europe, across borders, but of course, as Joaquin was explaining, goes beyond in terms of third country participation. We're probably the strongest, not just of the program in MSCA, but across the framework program. So I think that that's something which is very significant. And this has been happening already for many years. We had it in the previous framework program with RISE, and now with staff exchanges. So we are creating a very strong culture. It's something which is there. And I think at this point, if it was not there, it would be missed, because Joaquin has given a very good example. With these projects, which are, I mean, relatively easy to put together and relatively, I look at the two of you, and relatively easy to manage, it means that we are reaching out to many stakeholders, many interesting parties who are benefiting directly from these collaborations with third countries, we're saying, also with other countries. I would like to also take the opportunity to mention how important this scheme is for what we call the widening countries. We have seen over the years that some countries within the EU, and they have not been performing, and associated countries, they have not been performing in their participation in the framework program as one would expect. But what we see is that through staff exchanges, the participation is the highest in all the framework program. I think I seem to remember 41%, 46% participation and successful participation. Yes. So it means that these countries are directly participating in a framework program project. It's a gateway for all of these countries to get to participate more actively in other, maybe larger projects. But I always say, for many of these things, you have to start small. You have to understand how it operates, and then you can successfully move into other more ambitious projects and programs. So I would just like to emphasize the importance of this cross-border collaboration, of how staff exchanges is helping towards this.
Thank you, Begoña. Indeed, staff exchange, we consider ourselves as entry gate for the participation in international collaboration. But what about for the companies? Is considered as well a knowledge transfer across sectors, Montser?
Yeah, first I would like to start with, let's say, indeed, the participation of different universities from Europe and from the other side of the world. So just our previous projects involved partners from several European countries, and universities like TU Delft, Vilnius Tech, TU Ilmenau, and Surrey University. Also, we did collaborate with partners from the US, from Mexico, from Japan, and from South Africa. So this global collaboration has broadened our perspective and strengthened our approach to interdisciplinary research. For the upcoming MOCO project, we are continuing with this tradition by involving our former partners from Japan, Mexico, and South Africa, along with new partners from Korea. So this cross-border and cross-sector collaboration has enabled us to explore early-stage technologies that are beyond our usual scope. And additionally, these exchanges have created an immersive learning environment where our team members could interact with special equipment, unique methodologies, and different culture perspective, thereby broadening our outlook and making us more adaptable. One thing it's important to also mention here that through those projects, we are not only developing new competencies, but also building relationships and network that make future cross-border knowledge sharing easier and more effective.
Thank you, Monser. Indeed, you highlighted already very well how transfer of knowledge is happening across sectors, and as well, I thank you as well for highlighting that the international dimension is as well a very important aspect for you as a company that is worldwide, and then therefore is an added value for you. But now, Joaquin, can you provide examples how knowledge transfer has led in your experience in staff exchange and RISE projects, collaboration and innovation?
So, for instance, one of the first project that we already finished, which is the Nanomet. In this case, we were just collaborating with Ukraine, and one of the problems that they had is after the Chernobyl accident, they had problems because people, they were just having blood toxins and radionuclides. And there were companies there that they were already developing pills that they were able to remove some of these components and then mitigate the side effects. But of course, the variety of these components is so huge that sometimes it's not easy to remove all of them in one of these components. So we were joining efforts with the European partners, and the idea was just to develop composite materials where we were able to design them for each specific component in the blood, in the human fluids. And at the end of the project, we succeed to make, as I say, composites where we were able just to have an efficient system that was able to improve what they have already on the market. So this is again an example of collaboration in between academia, companies, third countries where they have the problem, and our knowledge that we have in Europe. And at the moment, I'm also coordinating a new one, which is the Clean Water Project. We are still at the beginning, but at the end, the problem is very similar. We have Mexico and Ukraine where they have problems with wastewater. When we have pollution of water, that means that we have, again, a large variety of molecules, and it's very difficult to find a solution with a single prototype. That's why, again, we need to just join our efforts, join our knowledge, and to design systems that they can just mitigate the side effect of each one of these components. And in both cases, the Clean Water is still running at the moment, but I think it's a very good example of how joining our knowledge and our technology, we can help them to find a solution. And of course, with the involvement of the companies. And I think Begoña was mentioning something very important. It's not only advantage for scientific people, but these projects, they are also involving the universities or the institutions because there are secondments for management. So at the end, is a unique program because all the institutions, all the universities involved in the project. And that means that not only the scientists and the young researchers, they can exchange ideas, also the people working in the management. And I think this is just, as I say, is quite unique compared to other types of projects.
Thank you, Joaquin, for sharing with us this cross-fertilization that is happening between the industry, between the universities, and as well highlight the direct impact of staff exchange with a very, very nice sample, by the way. But now we know that there are as well problems for the implementation of the project. There are barriers. Indeed, I would like to address you both, Joaquin and Monser, if you can just share with the applicants, potential applicants, which barriers do your organizations and researchers face by participating in staff exchange? Because we want to be transparent as well with our attendees, and moreover, because if they want to make a successful proposal, they will need to know how to deal with the risk that the implementation of a project implies.
I think this morning in the previous presentations, we saw that the way to apply for the project is very similar to the conventional European projects. So we have, again, the section of excellence, impact, and implementation. The main difference is that a priori, you must have more or less an idea of the secondment plan, because at the end you are exchanging students. So this is mainly one of the main differences with a conventional project. You need to have an idea who is traveling from which institution to which institution, in which work package is involved. Of course, there is flexibility afterwards to modify all these tables, but you have to have in your mind more or less how is the scheme. Once you get the project, we have our project offices that they are helping a lot the students that they are coming to our institution, so they help them with accommodation, with visa requirements, with everything. In my opinion, the main problem that I face every day is that sometimes, depending on the country, sometimes with the money that they receive is difficult, mainly when they go, for instance, to UK or they are in London. But today, this morning, we were seeing that the budget has increased, so this is a very positive point. Also, the inter-exchange in between academia and academia is very important, because that means that we have the possibility also to go to other institutions in Europe. And most probably, the final limitation that I see is that sometimes the students that we have, they have fellowships and they are involved in other projects. And I need to involve them also in these secondments. No? And sometimes it's not easy, because if they are working for companies in industrial projects, they cannot stop for 1 month or 2 months to go to another country. No? So this is more or less the limitation. Of course, if you have a big group, then it's more easy, because I can send different students.
Definitely, Joaquin, you highlight a good point. Planning of how it's going to happen during the implementation of the project is key at the time to overcome barriers. And Monser, what about the barriers that your organization may face because of participating in staff exchange?
Yeah, first I would like to describe them as challenges rather than barriers.
Okay, thank you.
And yeah, before going into that, I would like just to mention that at the moment we have 4 researchers doing their secondment from 2 different universities, 2 different countries in my team. So that's good. But okay, let's say one of the main challenges that ENCO faced in participating in this program was the administrative workload that comes with these projects. So setting up and managing all the necessary documentation, such as contracts, time tracking, expense records, and data organization to meet both MSCA requirements and also our internal standards, can be time consuming and requires some effort. So, however, while this setup phase can feel demanding, so we have found that once all the processes are in place, then they become much easier to manage. And over time, also our team has developed a more streamlined approach to handle those requests, which has reduced the overall effort needed. So another significant challenge for us is the time required by dedicated employees to assist and then guide visiting researchers. But also it is difficult for us as industrial partners to organize off-site secondment due to business demands and workload, let's say, constraints. But okay, finally, we firmly believe that the benefit we get from participating in this program far compensate the initial effort. And if you look at the opportunities we have in this program, such as the technical expertise, the exchange of technical expertise, the boosting of the innovation, also the enhancing of our professional network, then we believe that is bringing, let's say, an important value to our organization, making all this effort well worth it.
Okay, thank you, Monser. Well, it was mentioned, Mr. Barden, what we can do, Begoña, to alleviate these challenges.
Okay. From our side, we try to simplify as much as possible, and of course, we from our side, you can count on us. Once you have to be managing your project, you count on the colleagues in the research executive agency in terms of all the support. We know we accommodate, and we always strive for flexibility. But of course, as well, I should say, and this is a message not for you because you are successful, but for those who would be interested in participating, is also get in contact with your national contact points, because they have a lot of knowledge of this kind of challenges, as Monser says, not barriers, but challenges that you might be facing once you're preparing your proposal, and they can give you tips which are maybe specific to your own country or your own institution as well. They can help you with that, but also be aware that it's very important to have a big support as well from your institutions in terms of the preparation project management as such. You were saying, Joaquin, earlier on that you have always support for maybe dealing with visas and issues like this that can come up as an issue. So I would suggest that try to find this support, try to create at the institutional level that kind of support, because that will be useful for succeeding in the application, in the preparation, but also for afterwards, once you start following this up. But of course, from our side, and of course I look at Rodrigo, from our side, we try our best to always support the applicants and the projects as they go along.
And what we could envisage, Dora, at policy level?
Yes, you might know that we continuously try to improve all the actions, so not only staff exchanges, but all the other actions as well. And this is why what is very important for us that we collect your feedback on a yearly basis, not only the feedback of projects, but also the feedback of national contact points. We have an alumni association, and from time to time we also have some ad hoc occasions to get your feedback. And this is why it is also very important that after the project is finished, the fellows complete the end of fellowship questionnaire and also the follow-up questionnaire that comes 2 years later, because this is really something that gives us valuable information on what should be the main directions, what to change. But as it was mentioned by Begoña, I think for future changes, the main idea is that to follow the aims of simplification and to give even more flexibility to this action.
Thank you, Dora. Thank you all of you to be with us today and for this fruitful exchange. I would like as well to finally give you 30 seconds. It's like the elevator speech in order to transmit the key messages to the organization and institutions that they might follow us now, and in order to help them to prepare the proposals. Maybe starting with Begoña, if you can give us the reasons why they should make the choice for staff exchanges.
Well, I would start by saying, as has been said all along, it's beneficial both for the academia side and for the company side. It's a win-win. It's also a relatively easily successful bet that you're making, because as we've seen, we put a lot of budget into it. So the possibilities of success are much higher than in any other scheme. So considering that I see that around 61% of the viewers have not applied before to staff exchanges, I would say go for it. It's a good opportunity. It's your gateway into the program.
Dora?
Staff exchanges is really a great opportunity for researchers to work together, to share their ideas, and to work in a very international team and to work together with top researchers. And this is something that could be the key to tackle global challenges.
Thank you very much. And Joaquin, 2 tips that you will share with the organizations preparing a proposal.
I think I would like to emphasize the unique character of this call. No? I think, as we were discussing, this is an opportunity for the institutions, for their students, to be able to share ideas with other institutions, to spend time with them working in a specific problem. And at the end, I think it's beneficial for them. Imagine also for these students in third countries. They can join us in Europe, and they can have access to our technology, to our equipment. So at the end, is, as you were mentioning, it's a win-win. And also you are involving also administration staff also. So at the end, it's extremely useful for the institution to participate in this type of calls.
And Monser, which elements do companies should highlight in their proposals?
Yeah, first is the gain to the access to specialized skills that may not exist internally in a company, which is enabling us to explore new technologies and methods in a collaborative environment. Then second, this collaboration create a space to test new ideas and innovative concepts that might otherwise be very experimental and resource intensive to pursue alone. Additionally, this brings great opportunity for networking, for innovation, and to have access and visibility more to the international markets. So looking at all the benefits and which can really make a real difference, I highly advise all companies to participate in such program.
Thank you, all of you. It was a pleasure to share this time with you. I would like as well to extend our gratitude for your testimonials and your contributions, and be pretty sure available for all those that they are following this info day to day. I'm pretty sure that they got very good, interesting testimonials, and they will finally have as well some got very good tips as well how this should apply for staff exchange, why they should go for our action. Thank you very much. And now we are going to move to as well to watch another stories, another enthusiastic stories about past staff exchange and RISE success stories, where they will showcase the positive impact of their participation in our program in their projects and organizations. We have the pleasure now to see some videos.
Good morning. My name is Jesus Rojo, and I'm one of the MCPs for the Maria Skłodowska-Curie action in Spain. Today, I'm going to explain you how the brokerage event works, and just after we finish the informative session, the brokerage event will take place. This is our second brokerage event organized in the framework of the MSCA NET project, the National Contact Point for Maria Skłodowska-Curie Action Project. We started last year with the first one, and with the new project next year, we are going to organize in the following years ahead different brokerage events covering not only staff exchange but other calls. Today, Friday, 15 November, from 12:30 to 8 p.m., you will be able to arrange one-to-one meetings between entities and researchers for the shaping of project proposal for the actual Staff Exchanges 2024 call. All those who have registered and include an item in the marketplace, such as project idea or an offer on expertise, will have the opportunity to request one-to-one meetings with other entities and researchers. The main objective of the brokerage event is to help you to find partners for your project idea or to find a coordinator in Europe for a similar one. This brokerage helps you not only to as a researcher, but also other staff from universities, research centers, helping them to show the portfolio of expertise or project ideas. Site allows you to select participants using different filters, such as country, organization type, or scientific panel. The brokerage has 3 main tabs: participants, marketplace, and agenda. And under the participant tab, you can find all registered participants with a brief info about them, as name, surname, affiliation, description of his or her position, skills, and interests. In this slide, you can see two of our national contact points from Croatia and Malta participating in this progress event. They have arranged meetings with other participants, and they will solve questions and signposting to their national applicants. Under the tab Marketplace, you will find other opportunities in the framework of staff exchange called as project ideas, expertise of other researchers and managers, or the request of a specific expertise that an institution may need. The marketplace is the gateway to your future collaboration. You can filter them. The marketplace will help you to find researchers or other institutions with the expertise needed in your proposal, to find coordinators that are preparing a project proposal, or just discuss with some of the participants regarding an idea that you have and you are interested to prepare before the deadline. Again, that tab shows your meetings and the informative session that you are attending today. The agenda will help you to organize your time during today's meetings. Please don't forget to accept or reject the meetings you have received under my schedule. I wish you a successful networking. What happened after this brokerage event? You can use our MSCA matchmaking platform. You can see the link in the slide. This platform will allow you to continue looking for partners and candidates in all the MSCA modalities, from doctoral network, postdoctoral fellowship candidates, co-fund collaborators, or even if you are preparing for the future MSCA and citizens proposal next year, you can use the platform. Don't forget that it's very, very important to include a marketplace. This is the only requirement to be validated in the platform. The platform will be online until April 2025, and a new platform will replace the current one with new features and will be active during 2025, 2026, and 2027. The exact duration of the new NCP MSCA project. As a kind reminder, again, is super important because many participants in the platform, they never include a marketplace item. So it's compulsory to include in your marketplace items such as project ideas, expertise offers, or expertise requests. We need complete profiles in order to provide quality service to all the applicants. Happy networking.
Welcome back, dear attendees, to our Info Day. I think that you have had the opportunity now to watch a video anticipating our brokerage event that I will introduce afterwards, and providing you as well instructions how to participate in the brokerage event. But now we are moving to the question and answer session. And nevertheless, don't forget that we have as well some videos that we have already published on our social media that will allow you as well to inspire in order to prepare your successful proposals. We know it's challenging indeed to secure funding, and that's why we have organized this question and answer session to help you to navigate through the process to prepare a successful proposal. You can ask questions. We will try to clarify all your doubts and to provide you all the valuable information that you may need in order to prepare your proposal. Whether you are experienced or in staff exchange or you are a newcomer, we are here to help you to succeed. And we have the best among us to help you to make prepare your proposals and to understand better our action. That's why it's a pleasure to me to introduce today here on the left-hand side, first Sandro Ricci. He's our deputy head of unit he's deputy head of unit of the unit REA A3 at the European Research Executive Agency. And I want to welcome back again in the studio here my colleagues Sotirios, panel coordinator of the chemistry panel, and Gianluca Coluccio, who is the co-coordinator in our unit and is the person who organized the full evaluation of the proposals that we are sure you will submit. The session is interactive. Don't hesitate to submit your questions, share your experience, and try to seek for our advice. You can use for that Slido. Don't forget, use the hashtag that you have on the screen, SE2024, and we can start. Then the first question is true that your financial audit only recognizes formal hotels as expenses? We cannot use cheap Airbnb when doing exchanges. Maybe, Sandro, you could break the ice and take the first question.
Thank you, Rodrigo. Good morning, everyone. Actually, it is not true. What you may be asked in the frame of an audit is to justify the expenses, so the amount allocated to the benefit of the staff member in mobility. As long as you have an invoice justifying the payment of an hotel, Airbnb, or whatever is perfectly fine.
Thank you, Sandro. Now we have a second question that as well looks very interesting. Can a researcher on a EU-funded contract participate in staff exchanges? For instance, a researcher that is already working in a RIA project or an MSCA fellow or an MSCA doctoral network student? Maybe Sotirios?
Yeah, thank you, Rodrigo, for the question. Although we aim to have synergies with other EU funding actions, and staff exchanges, we have to be very careful, first of all, not to have any double funding situation here. For instance, a clear non-go is that the same staff cannot participate the same period in more than two MSCA projects in different actions. That will be, let's say, an example of raising a double funding situation. I also like to highlight and remind you that during the secondment, the staff must be fully devoted in our action. So, and that also is an issue. Sometimes we cannot have synergies with other actions where they also demand full-time commitment.
Thank you, Sotirios. I think that your reply was very, very clear. Now we move to the next question that is being highlighted by our colleagues. Sadly, what costs can be covered or eligible under the institutional cost budget? I think that, Sandro, you are in the best position to reply to this question.
Thank you. In the frame of the institutional costs, you may have, on the one hand, the research costs, the networking costs, overheads, and so on. Please be informed that the institutional part of the contribution is not subject to an audit. So as long as is justified the amount allocated to the benefit of the staff member in mobility, the institutional part will be applied without any further checks.
Thank you, Sandro. Now I see on the list that there is a question for Gianluca, because it's related to submission of proposals. What level of detail is required for the description of the secondments in the proposal? Number of person months, from whom to whom, exact dates, month, year?
Yeah, thank you, Rodrigo. And it's indeed a nice question. Actually, these have been part of the simplification we had compared to previous years when we request to remove the table with all the exchanges in the project. So it is not really required as an obligation, any kind of details. However, you have to have in the budget table the total number of exchanges per participant. And of course, in the description of the work performed by the proposer, there is a kind of space where proposer can provide details. This will help, of course, the expert to understand the research that will be done, the exchanges that will be done in the project, and it will, of course, facilitate their assessment of the proposal. So there is no obligation, but of course can be introduced in the proposal in the work package description.
Thank you, Gianluca. Indeed, thank you as well for highlighting that the change between RISE and staff exchanges, that indeed we are not asking for such a detail can chart at proposal level. Here there is another question that maybe will come to Sandro. When a researcher spends 1 month plus 1 week in secondment but will not complete another month of secondment, it is possible to pay a daily rate?
Thank you, Rodrigo. The unit cost is based on the fact that at least 1 month is performed throughout the duration of the project. It means that these should not be 30 consequent days. It could be also performed through split stays. As long as at least 1 month is completed by a single staff member, then the contribution is triggered for these staff member, and then it implies that the additional days will be paid pro rata, actually. But if 1 month is not reached throughout the duration of the project, as I was saying, then the daily rate cannot be applied.
Thank you, Sandro. I think that we may have another question submitted by the attendees. Exactly what costs can be covered or are eligible under the institutional cost budget? Maybe Sotirios, you want to take it?
Yes, thank you, Rodrigo. Well, we cannot be exact, but well, giving an indication, yeah. As I also mentioned in my presentation, we have 2 subcategories of the so-called institutional costs. The one that concern the research, networking, and training activities costs. And here, as an additional, let's say, as a sort of example, I can say that we can cover from this type of course any laboratory costs. Let's say if we have experiments which are foreseen in the secondment. Also, in order to organize, to send the secondee to a scientific conference, we can also cover expenses for publication open access journal from this part of course. Now we also have the management and overheads, the 1,000 per person month. And again, a couple of indicative examples. So we may, for instance, in exceptionally complicated project with with a large consortium, the need to have a project manager. So part of his salary could be covered, for instance, by institutional costs. Or we may have projects which are heavy in ethics, and they have to assign an ethic advisor. So also his reimbursement could be covered by this kind of costs. There is also a consortium agreement always which defines certain obligations that can be covered by the management costs.
Thank you, Sotirios. Have now another question that is submitted by Magdalena. Thank you for following us today. Hi, can we modify the secondments after the grant start? For example, can we travel in another period than initially announced or planned, or even go to another country? Maybe Gianluca?
Okay, yes. Yes, the answer is yes. The provision of the secondments that you provide in during the application, it is not mandatory at the end of the project, meaning like, of course, you should respect as much as possible the research via the exchanges, but we say that a project is like a wedding, you know, you can always modify something during the lifetime. And of course, upon agreement with the project officer that will follow your project, then you can describe the reason why you want to change. And if it's found like acceptable, you can change both the period, the time, or even the country where you go. Of course, if this comes quite numerous during the lifetime of the project, we request an amendment of the grants in order to complete and to have a clear view of what the exchange looks like at the end of the project.
Thank you, Gianluca, for this clarification, and I agree with you. A project is a kind of wedding, and then we have to respect the rules. Thank you very much. I think that we are maybe having some troubles to refresh the Slido, but maybe I take the advantage of that to ask to Gianluca if can you explain us if this year the UK participants, what is the novelties regarding the UK participants?
As we say in the previous section, this is the novelties of this year. UK comes back in the vest of a beneficiary in our projects, and not only as an associate partner as in the past. This, of course, will facilitate the participation, also the composition of the consortia. As we saw in the past exercise with the RISE project, we had many beneficiaries from UK, also many coordinators. So we hope that even from this novelty this year, we will receive more proposal with the UK as a beneficiary or as a coordinator.
Thank you, Gianluca. Maybe we can go with another question that we have on the screen. Can a researcher of a EU-funded contract participate in another staff exchanges if this project is...
Maybe this one.
Yes, this was already answered. Here we have another one. Grant Office, thank you as well for participating today. Does the staff member unit contribution have to be paid? Now it's on the top, yes, thank you. Does the staff member unit contribution has to be paid to the secondee as part of their salary? This may result in task and social insurance obligations. Maybe Sandro, you would like to take this one?
Thank you, Rodrigo. To answer to this question, maybe we should make a twofold consideration. On the one hand, the contribution paid in the frame of staff exchange project is a top-up. So in case the seconded staff member is already receiving from his employer a salary, this should be continued during the period of secondment, so cannot be limited. If the question is related only to the modality of payment, these are unfortunately decide or fall within the application of the national rules and of the also local practice of the organization. What we suggest as a commission, of course, is to maximize the usefulness of this contribution in order to facilitate the mobility and to make this mobility attractive. So in this way, if can be paid in full without any additional taxation, of course this is the preferable solution as long as it is compatible, as I was saying, with the national law and the local practices, because these should apply as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandro, for this explanation. Now we have another question here on the top, as you can see from Marqueta. What documents will be necessary to check the completed secondments? It's about to keeping recordings of and proof of the secondments. Maybe Sotirios, you want to take it?
Yes, thank you, Rodrigo. And it's actually an important question because, well, it also indicates the requirements in case of a financial audit, which is the documentation, first of all, that we focus here is the ones that are also relevant to the so-called type A costs, the cost for the staff. So we need to demonstrate, of course, the travel of the secondee and the return, so the documents which are relevant to the travel, also the accommodation related documents, and also it will be quite important to have, if possible, a demonstration of his or her physical presence in the laboratory. If, for instance, it requires experimental work, we recommend that, let's say, type since laboratory seats which demonstrate the presence of the secondee will be also available, so that in case of an audit, it will go smoothly for the control.
Thank you, Sotiris. As mentioned by my colleague, keep records because they can be subject to audits. Now we have here more interest about the call. While checking Cordis, I could find only very few projects in social science and humanities. What is the reason? Maybe social science and humanities are just not a priority in the call. Gianluca?
Yes, please. Well, no. There is no priority in the call. We are just a bottom-up scheme, so every call, every subject is equally interesting for us and for the call. I have to say that in the years, the major panel was engineering. That was followed up by economic and social sciences. So there are not so many, maybe because we do not attract, but I'm not so sure. So I would really invite colleagues from social sciences and humanities faculties to present more proposals. And we would like to increase this possibility to found interesting projects from that area, scientific area. But as I said before, there is no priority or there is no given subject in the call. We are bottom up.
Thank you, Gianluca. Well, on top of that, on top of being our co-coordinator, he's as well the coordinator of the social science panel in our unit. Therefore, he knows very well that. We have another question for the call. If you want to take us well with this one, Gianluca, since there is no table with distribution of secondment, is there any indication how many secondments we plan to have inside Europe, the so-called interdisciplinary ones?
Well, no, there is no indication except the fact that this should, at the end of the project, be equivalent to maximum 1/3 of the funded secondments. As you mentioned already before, and as my colleague Sotiris already mentioned, the interdisciplinarity here, in the sense of 1/3 of secondment, is relevant just within for the exchanges within Europe, not for the exchanges with their countries outside Europe. So that is to be underlined, because sometimes it's confused.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for this clarification. The next one, not to abuse with you, is maybe for Sotirios. The limitation of 1/3 same-sector secondments applies only to the secondments among EU and associated countries, but not to those with third countries.
Yes, indeed, Rodrigo, and that was partly, I think, already replied by Gianluca. We do care about the same sector secondments and interdisciplinarity only for the ones that are implemented between beneficiaries, between entities located in a member state and associated country or Horizon Europe. For the secondments between beneficiaries and third countries, there is no limitation at all about sectors, so we don't have to apply any rules about interdisciplinarity.
If someone of you want to ask something, please do not hesitate. You have a next question. I think that maybe the right person to answer this one is our deputy head of unit, Sandro. A student enrolled in the PhD studies at an university is automatically considered of staff of this university, correct or not?
The short answer is yes, it's correct. I mean, someone who is enrolled in PhD studies is eligible to take part in staff exchanges as long as the other conditions are there. I'm thinking about the prior enrollment that should be at least 1 month prior to the secondment. And I would like also to add that these eligibility does not depend on the fact that the PhD candidate is or not in receipt of a fellowship. So even if he or she is not getting any fellowship, he or she is eligible for taking part in staff exchanges.
Thank you, Sandro. If you don't mind, we can stay with you because there's here another question that maybe your legal background will illustrate us. Consultancy companies working in public policies that are considered research centers by Eurostat, should we consider them as academic or non-academic sector?
I mean, being academic or non-academic, it depends on the validation. So there is a service in REA that is carrying out this task for the entire Commission and also for other institutions of the EU, that is validating the entities. On the basis of the documents provided at the moment of the validation, the entity will be defined as academic or non-academic. And this is relevant indeed for the eligibility of some secondments in staff exchanges.
Thank you, Sandro. I have another very interesting question. This maybe will go to my colleague Sotirios. Do we need to keep a time sheet to prove the full-time involvement of the researcher in a given secondment, or the secondment certificate is enough proof?
Well, in the frame of the record keeping that we discussed earlier, we strongly encourage, let's say, to have as much as possible a time sheet or laboratory, let's say, sheet and proof of the physical presence. It is also usually required by the audit. There are various ways to do that. I mean, nowadays we don't need necessarily paper. There are also electronic signatures available, so we can, let's say, adapt to the times. The secondment certificate, of course, it is an alternative proof, which is, well, it can meet the purpose again, we encourage anyway to be able to provide some documentation for the audit if that procedure comes in action.
Thank you, Sotiris. I think that was a difficult question, but a very good reply. Maybe next one that comes up is for Sandro. How should we proceed for overseas countries and territories as EU associated countries separate from their metropolitan territories or not?
Okay, the overseas countries are part of the country to which they belong, so they are considered part of the same territory. Please be careful because notwithstanding there is no, how can I name this, territorial continuity, secondments between an overseas country and its own country, main country, are not allowed because it will be within the same member states or associated country. But for the rest, they are absolutely eligible as making part of institutions located in the overseas countries are considered being in the territory of the member states associated country to which they belong.
Thank you, Sandro. I think the next one maybe is interested to be replied by Sotirios with your large experience in evaluation. If the consortium is only an academic sector having a third country, is the project proposal satisfactory given that it does not involve a non-academic sector?
Thank you, Rodrigo. Well, once it is eligible, the consortium, so in that case, I imagine if they're all from academic sector who have partners outside Europe, well, we don't discriminate actually during the evaluation. During the evaluation, we focus on the criteria of the excellence, on the impact, the criteria that also explained by Gianluca. We want the consortium to be eligible, whether purely in the sectoral or purely the national. It doesn't matter for us in terms of the evaluation procedure. Of course, we want, if possible, to have both in the national and intersectoral. But again, there is no discrimination in terms of the evaluation.
Thank you, Sotirios. Now we see as well the interest for the application process. I think that, Gianluca, maybe you are the right person to reply to the next one. For a proposal targeting at the MSc Staff Exchanges call, does the proposal need a dedicated work package for dissemination, communication, and exploitation?
Well, it is not really relevant if it's a work package expressly dedicated to dissemination, communication, and exploitation. However, it is a compulsory requirement that you have a dissemination, communication, exploitation deliverables. So it is advisable also to have a dissemination, communication, exploitation work package, but still it is not mandatory, let's say, but it's advisable.
Thank you. Maybe we can stay with you. How we can know whether a partner is academic or not academic?
As Sandro already said before, this is subject to the validation, and this is performed by REA Validation Unit, our colleagues, and you will, of course, be validated as academic or not academic by our colleagues.
Thank you. We have now a new question. Maybe, Sandro, you would like to take this one. Can doctoral candidates be considered as a staff if they are not employed under an employment contract but are officially participating in a doctoral school or are participants of a doctoral school?
Thank you, Rodrigo. Yes, the answer is definitely yes. In general, there is a point that may be worth to be clarified. Although we talk about staff, the concept of staff is not the same that is used normally in laboral law. So for us, staff means a person who is linked to an organization by legal means that provide the entities to which they belong some power of control during the period of secondment. So an employment contract, even if of course fall entirely within this definition, is not necessary. Being enrolled in a PhD program, as I was saying before, is absolutely sufficient. And once again, I would like to reiterate that also the element of the salary, of the retribution, is not a crucial element as long as there is this legal link between the staff member and the organization to which he or she is belonging.
Thank you, Sandro. Maybe we can stay with you because this is a quite topic that always worries our applicants and as well the implementers of our project about the double funding. And here we have an interesting question. What do you mean by no double funding? Can my host in a third country offer some support?
Okay, in the simplest way, double funding means that an item of expenditure cannot be paid twice by the EU budget. So as long as you are receiving some funding, some support from third party that is not the EU, it remains in the area of the own resources, so does not create any limitation for the payment by the Commission services in the frame of an EU-funded project.
Thank you, Sandro. I'm pretty sure that now is very clear for the attendees. Now we move to another question from Karel. Thank you for submitting this question. This will be replied by our co-coordinator, Gianluca. Work package description tables in part B1, should we include as universities there since they have all 0 months?
Yes, the answer is yes. All the associated partners will be included in the work package description. That is to show, first of all, the dedication to the project, but also what they do during the project lifetime. I guess that even if they have 0 months secondments, they will host secondments. I just remember here that there cannot be in the proposal associated partners or beneficiary even more that have no secondments at all, either sending or hosting secondments. So for us it's fundamental, it's compulsory that each participant as associated partner or as a beneficiary will send or host a secondment.
Thank you, Luca. I think definitely this is a very important clarification. Now I have a next question maybe for Sotirios. From the 5,010 euros per person month, what is the distribution with regards to sending and hosting institution?
Thank you, Rodrigo. Well, it is an expected, quite popular, I think, question. First of all, I imagine the question concerns the institutional cost, because I guess it's clear that more than half go to as a top-up allowance to the staff. Yeah. So we're talking about the institutional cost, and here again there is no exact distribution. It depends on the needs of the project. There is also a consortium agreement which should define as well this kind of obligations in the funding arrangements. But maybe as a kind of example, I can again mention that, for instance, part of the institutional costs refer to research, training, and networking. So, for instance, if someone is a secondary sent to an institution to perform experimental work, we expect that part of the laboratory costs are covered. So there should be a transfer from the sending institution to the host institution to cover this part of the costs, as a kind of example. But again, there is no exact distribution. The partners should comply with a consortium agreement that should foresee all the different types of activities for the project and how the internal distribution of the funding can meet these obligations.
Okay. Maybe we can stay with you because related as well to cost. The coordinator gets funds for managing the project. 10% of the total is acceptable?
Well, again, we don't have, I think, a threshold, but I would say it's highly relevant again to the general needs of the project. I mean, for an exceptionally high, for instance, consortium, we gave an example of 20 partners, and so we usually have also the need to have a project manager that takes care of, let's say, the daily activities and the coordination. It may be, that we have, let's say, costs in that direction. Again, it's the consortium agreement that will have to define this internal agreement between the project partners. I would say that it looks reasonable in a sense, but we cannot be completely exact. It depends on the needs and the nature of the consortium and of the project.
Thank you. We can still take a couple of questions. Maybe the first one to my colleague Sandro. Is Morocco eligible as associated partner?
Yes, of course, is eligible as an associated partner. Morocco is also undergoing a process to become an associate country to the framework program for research and innovation. As far as I'm informed, I was checking also very recently, the process is not finalized. When it will be finalized, then Morocco will become an associated country, so directly eligible for funding and beneficiary in our project. But for sure, right now, can participate as an associated partner.
Thank you, Sandro. Last question. If you agree with me, Gianluca will be with you.
Rodrigo, sorry, if you allow me, because it's something I would like to add on
Yes,
the
please,
previous
please.
answer, also connecting to what have been replied by Sotiris. It is important also for the associated partner, if you would like to clarify all the details, legal details, to subscribe an associated partner agreement. Because sometimes we notice in our project that we manage in our units that there is a dispute between beneficiary and associated partners, and usually associated partners are not in the consortium agreement. So it is also beneficial for the consortia that have the associated partner to subscribe an associated partner agreement. Sorry if I
No, it's fine. Indeed, I think this was a very important clarification, and thank you for that. Maybe just the latest question to finalize. Do you think that 30 days for 1 month secondment, does it count from the departure date and arrival date from and to the home country?
Yes, the travel is, of course, if it's linked to the to the project, to the secondment, is also part of the secondment itself. Sometimes we have a travel that is not immediately linked to the secondments. In that case, I think that it's not counted. We need to understand the case by case what is the reason why. If it is like a link to another secondments, for example, with another project, or if it is a travel for personal reason on holidays. It is a case by case, but in theory, both the travel and both ways are part of the secondment.
Okay, thank you very much for being with us. Unfortunately, we don't have more time to answer questions today. Nevertheless, we thank you as well, the attendees, for submitting so many questions. We have seen that there's a great interest there for clarifications about our call, and we are pleased. Indeed, we will address all these questions in a slide over the next upcoming days. Thank you for your questions. Thank you as well for the fruitful today exchange between us. We highly appreciate the intervention of my colleagues, Sandro Ricci, our Deputy Head of Unit, Gianluca Coluccio, Co-Coordinator in our unit and Coordinator of the Social Science panels, because it was already mentioned today, and Sotirios Kiokias, who is the panel coordinator of the Chemistry panel. Then we move ahead. We are going to have a look to the interest to apply for our call. Are you, after all the information that we have already shared with you this morning, we have explained you the features of the action, we have as well explained you the process to apply, are you still tempted to participate in our call? I can see that you will see now in a few seconds on the screen the results of this Slido pool that have just launched during the question and answer session. You can see that still we have a challenge ahead. We like to convince still some. I think this is not the right one. We are waiting for those tempted to apply. If the colleagues can put on the screen the one about those, how good we were convincing the applicants to apply. Just a few seconds. Okay. Okay, then we can move ahead to the next one that is on the screen. Do you plan to apply for the MSCA Staff Exchange call? The deadline, I would like to remind you, the deadline is the 5th of February. And we can see that, yes, there is a huge interest. Almost 40% they want to join either as beneficiary and associated partner. That means that we were quite successful today explaining how to prepare a successful proposal. We have seen as well that 34% of them, they are quite courageous and they want even to be the leaders of their consortia. Then you are more than welcome, and I hope that you can find on our presentation today all the details that will make you successful in your submission. We have still a challenge ahead, colleagues. 24% of them, they are not yet fully convinced. but we will definitely manage to convince them. We have already had before in our schedule today a presentation of to engage you in our brokerage events. Since now until 8 p.m. in the evening, you will be able to participate in the second MSCA Staff Exchange brokerage event. In that event, you will find unique opportunities to establish collaboration and even to find other partners that will be pleased to join you in order to prepare a proposal. We have provided you in advance today a presentation that was provided by Mr. Jesus Rojo, who is the Spanish national contact point. He has been very kind and has prepared a short presentation to explain the details to guide you through this process, and that will allow you to have a successful participation in this brokerage event. Thank you, Jesus, for this presentation and for having introduced this event on behalf of all of us, the MSCA Staff Exchange team. Before we close, I want to thank you as well today, finally, our three guests for the question and answer sessions, and we are going to move now to a couple of minutes where you will have the opportunity to watch some videos with testimonials about RISE and Staff Exchange projects. They will, we think that they will manage to convince you because of their enthusiasm, showing the impact on the organizations and research of the Staff Exchange projects. Then we give the floor now to our former, and some of them still current coordinators with the videos that will express how good is and which are the benefits of participating in a Staff Exchange. Please, videos.
Hello, I'm Carmen Sanz. I'm professor at the University of Barcelona, and I'm the coordinator of the RISE project called NOPE. The project contributes to study the problem of the pesticides in Latin America. We focused on the study of the currents of pesticides in natural water, the risk associated with these pesticides, and we also developed some economical, low-cost treatments to remove pesticides from water. RISE projects are an excellent opportunity for researchers to work in a multidisciplinary team, because you have the opportunity to work with top researchers in their fields of expertise and generate new synergies, so that is very good for the research.
More than 60% of our colleagues have participated in the MSCA Staff Exchange GIS project. They have visited several other countries for several periods of time, from 1 month to 6 months. They have visited other laboratories. They have come into contact with different cultures and different technologies. The benefit out of this exchange is that they brought back the new technologies that could be compatible with the ones that we already developed.
The Reactive 2 project is a Horizon 2020 RISE project with 13 partners across 6 countries.
Hello, I'm Carmen Sanz. I'm professor at the University of Barcelona, and I'm the coordinator of the RISE project called NOPE. The project contributes to study the problem of the pesticides in Latin America. We focused on the study of the currents of pesticides in natural water, the risk associated with these pesticides, and we also developed some economical, low-cost treatments to remove pesticides from water.
Good morning. My name
Right projects are an excellent opportunity for researchers to work in a multidisciplinary team because you have the opportunity to work with
session, the brokerage event. Your second brokerage event organized in the framework of the MSCA National Contact Point for Maria Skłodowska-Curie Action Project.
Hello, I'm Carmen Sanz. I'm professor at the University of Barcelona, and I'm the coordinator of the RISE project called NOPE. The project contributes to study the problem of the pesticides in Latin America. We focused on the study of the occurrence of pesticides in natural water, the risk associated with these pesticides, and we also developed some economical, low-cost treatments to remove pesticides from water. Right projects are an excellent opportunity for researchers to work in a multidisciplinary team because you have the opportunity to work with top researchers in their fields of expertise and generate new synergies, so that is very good for the research.
More than 60% of our colleagues have participated in the MSCA Staff Exchange GIS project. They have visited several other countries for several periods of time, from 1 month to 6 months. They have visited other laboratories. They have come into contact with different cultures and different technologies. The benefit out of this exchange is that they brought back the new technologies that could be compatible with the ones that we already developed.
The Reactive 2 project is a Horizon 2020 RISE project with 13 partners across 6 countries. As a research, innovation, and staff exchange project, it involves staff mobility between industry and academic institutions. The project has 4 scientific work packages which form the base for other activities, including the secondments, which are the core of the project, networking, and workshops. The aim of the Reactive 2 project is to bring together scientists and engineers with a wide range of skills and experience.
Thank you. We hope that you get inspiration from the testimonials we have just shown on the screen from successful success stories of MSCA RISE Staff Exchanges projects. But before we close today, let me introduce you the final poll that we'd like to share with you, and as well to check what is still, how many of you are still with us. As you will see on the screen, the question is, if you have to define MSCA Staff Exchange in one word, what would it be, that word? We can see here, for instance, interesting, networking, cooperation, collaboration opportunity, as well capacity building, efficient, benefit. We see as well confusing, complicated, I will insist maybe on the statement we have shown this morning of Marie Curie. Nothing is like to be fair. It is only to be understood. Then do not hesitate to watch again the video on the Red and I community platform or on YouTube when it will be available to better understand what is about our action and how to submit a successful proposal. If you haven't decided yet, do not hesitate to watch the info session again. Indeed, you have still time until the cut deadline on 5th February to create your consortium, to select your partners, and to submit a successful proposal following our advice today. Please, we kindly ask you to just take 5 minutes to fill out our satisfaction survey. Your opinions are very important to us to save future communication events. And now we are just reaching the end. I would like to hand the virtual floor back to my head of unit, Monica Holick, who will close this event today. Monica, the spotlight is on you.
Thank you, Rodrigo. As we conclude today's information session, I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to each of you for your time and participation. It has been a pleasure to share insights about Staff Exchange's action, and I sincerely hope that we have inspired you to prepare and submit strong proposals for our current call. Innovation drives progress, and research paves the way for a better future. Your presence here today demonstrates your commitment to advancing knowledge and fostering innovation. Looking ahead, I encourage you to collaborate with other organizations on Staff Exchange's projects. We are eager to learn about your initiatives and see how your innovative ideas can create a meaningful impact. Thank you once again for joining us. If you have any questions or would like further information, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you and have a wonderful day.